Welcome back to Waterpark Rangers Let's Play Kingdom Hearts. In the last episode, we conquered the Hades Cup and took down Ice Titan at the Gold Match. This means there are only 3 more, the 3 final optional opponents in the game, the strongest ones. For the one we're going after today, we have Faraga, Blizzaga, and Stopra equipped. We don't have Stopaga because, or Stopga, as the case may be, because I believe that's somewhere in the Dalmatians quest, and I'm not getting all the Dalmatians. Anyway, the bottom line is, this guy's actually not at the Colosseum. He's in Neverland, so head over to Big Ben. Or actually, rather, you should warp into one of the rooms in Captain Hook's ship. I'll check the menu exactly which one we should be picking, because I know a lot of these rooms can sound the same. But then again, only a couple are warp points. So it's... oh, I think it's a cabin. Yeah, it looks like you can't actually warp to Big Ben. That's kind of a shame. I like Big Ben. I mean, we're going to be going there pretty soon, but you'll see circumstances are kind of special this time around. Anyway, what you need to do is, there is Tinkerbell right here. You can't really talk to her unless you have Peter Pan on your side, so you need to go switch him out in the corner. Well, I almost keep calling Peter Pan Pupa Pan. This is what Homestuck does to you. Alright, so we're going to be switching out Goofy because it's important to have as many magic users as you can in your party. And as you know, Donald's a mage. I'm just making sure that they don't have useless abilities equipped. We should be alright. Under normal circumstances, you're going to want to be bringing full Megalixirs into this party. Completely stock yourself with Megalixirs, and if you run out of those, start using Elixirs. This is one of the hardest fights, and therefore should be treated with your strongest healing items. It has very special circumstances. For some people, this is considered the hardest fight in the game. I used to think that maybe it was second toughest, but after a lot of deliberation and strategizing, I've decided that it's not the second toughest, it's third. But it may depend. This varies. It's really a case of your mileage may vary. I don't think this guy's as tough as he used to be for me. The first time I fought him, I thought he was one of the hardest bosses I'd ever gone up against. That was because I wasn't too experienced to the pattern of the fight. So the bottom line is you want to have Stopra, or whatever your stop spell is, hotkeyed, and go up to the clock, one of the hands, try and get close to the hands as possible, target it to make sure you don't miss, and then you stop to keep the hands in place. The reason for this is because you see those flames on the clock. Phantom has cast a spell from this, that's this guy's name by the way, Phantom. I'll tell you how to hurt him soon enough, but I need to explain the clock first. He's cast a spell from the Final Fantasy series called Doom. What Doom does is it will cause an inevitable death once it reaches its timer of whatever party member it's currently cast on. And Phantom's first going to cast it on the third person in your party. I think he usually starts with Peter Pan, no matter what you do. Then he'll do Donald or Goofy, and finally, he'll end with Sora. Now, the difference between Doom and a normal KO is that once you're hit with Doom, it's not like anything you can recover from. You die. You literally die, and you can't come back. Which means that, seriously, you only have three rounds of the clock before you can't win the fight, and everyone's dead. So what you have to do is you have to keep holding back the clock during the fight by using Stop. Unfortunately, Stop takes a good amount of magic to use, and there goes the clock again. You always have to have your eye on it, because while you're fighting Phantom trying to damage him, the clock's eventually going to run out of its stopped little pause section, and it's going to start ticking once again. And once it does one full rotation, it's down with Peter Pan, another one is Donald or Goofy, and then finally Sora. So just keep in mind that you have to keep using Stop on the hands of the clock. Make sure it's come to a complete and total stop before continuing your assault against Phantom. Now, as for Phantom himself, he doesn't have many attacks besides Doom. He has 2. One, which is where his hand turns into like a little candlestick and he swats you. About 3 hits of that and you'll die. So you need to cure yourself and keep air up so that you don't die from that attack. Once again, that's going to highly consume your magic. His other attack is even more lethal. Mainly, it's this kind of homing laser. He'll hold his hands over his head before using it. Once you see him doing that, run to another side of the clock where you're away from Phantom and wait for a few moments. That's because it homes in on you and it's going to hit the clock instead of you, meaning it can't hurt you. So that's the trick to that. It looks like the clock's moving again, so we're going to stop it. I think we have it. There we go. Now the clock is stopped. And as you can see, we're nearly running low on magic there. We're almost out of it. So if you don't have Mega Elixirs or anything to substantially refuel your magic, you simply can't win the fight. Because, now this is what I'm also going to explain, magic is one of the only ways you can hurt Phantom. The thing is, he has a little core, which is a heart, which is kind of ironic, you know, seeing as he's a Heartless. But, there you go. A Heartless being stupid like that. That little heart is going to change different colors. Depending on what color it is, it's going to be a different kind of weakness that heart is weak to. If it's white, like it is now, a physical attack is what's necessary to hurt him. If it's red or pink, that means you need to hit it with fire. If it's yellow, you need to hit it with thunder. And if it's blue, you need to hit it with ice. So basically, just use your respective spells on him. Now, Phantom is notoriously difficult to hit because he moves around a lot, and your spells typically have very bad aim. And that's mainly what caused me so much trouble the first time I was fighting him. In addition to everything else in this fight that I've gone over, which is basically this complete shitstorm of horrible, like, problems that is going to make this fight near impossible to win. And I say near impossible, it's not near impossible. It's just, a lot of people have never beaten Phantom and probably never will, because he's just way harder than everything else this game has to offer, just about. Even the next two optional people don't have this many, like, weird things going on in the fight. He's really the only timed fight that I know of in the game. And because he's got so much weird things going for him, most people just aren't able to defeat him, because he's just there's too much pressure. There's too many, he just takes too much magic to defeat. You're likely going to not have the items necessary for winning the battle, because you might have used them up carelessly earlier on. And just the level you have to be at to even make this fight not obscenely difficult, which I am right now, and it's not too bad. But even then, he's not a pushover either, even with all my upgrades and the ultimate Keyblade. He's still a threat, even with all our stuff. So that just goes to show how difficult Phantom really can be. He's also going to start changing the weakness of his heart more frequently, the further you start depleting his health, so keep that in mind as well. Now, what else do we have to mention, besides the fact that, oh yeah, you have flying controls on this whole fight, and that's part of the reason that this fight's kind of difficult to win, is because it's difficult to get close to him. You really do have to get close to him to hit him with your spells. Because I personally think Blizzaga has horrible aim, I have it hotkeyed, so that it's easier for us to nail him with. As well as Firaga, because it's just very convenient to be able to spam that at a distance from the hotkey. As for Thundaga, because Thundaga is more of a homing spell, which is more reliable whenever you use it, I don't have it hotkeyed. I just selected off the magic menu. I know this is kind of risky, but because we're a high enough level, when we can actually stand a few more Phantom's hits than normal, I don't have Cure hotkeyed for once in a boss fight. I'm going to use the magic menu or just a Mega Elixir to replenish my health, because I would rather have Stop hotkeyed. It's crucial to have Stop hotkeyed, if more than any other spell, because the clock is ultimately your biggest antagonist in the fight. And there we go, it's actually past its first radius, so I mean circumference. There we go, me being bad at deciphering circles and what they mean. But Peter Pan is dead, he's out for the count. We can't revive him, and he's not going to come back for the duration of the fight. This doesn't mean that he's dead forever. I mean, once we win the fight, he's going to return so we can, like, use him again at Neverland. I mean, that would be a little bit ominous if you could just never use your party members again if they died against Phantom. Yes, but the fact is you won't be able to heal him or return him to the battle. Now, I think you can actually let the clock circle once more before the flames appear, and during that time, you can stop it again. So, that's what I didn't know. The first time fighting him, I didn't know that you could stop the clock if there weren't the Flames of Doom on it. That's literally pretty much what I'm going to call them, the Flames of Doom, because they are the flames representative of the spell Doom. So, yes, we've stopped the clock without the fire, which means it actually gets 2 more rotations before Donald dies. So technically we have 4 more circles on the clock before we really can lose a fight. So at this point, victory is more or less ensured. We're not even going to have to worry too much about stopping the clock at this point. But I think I may just wait for... never mind. We can just keep it where it is. We'll be able to win without too much more difficulty. I do think I owe it to you to at least explain what Phantom's laser attack does, just in case you ever find yourself hit by it. If you let Phantom's laser hit you, which is the one where he holds his hands over his head and then charges up for a little while, this is what's going to happen. It's going to hit you, but it doesn't just hit you once. It will actually hit you about 4 times, and it can't... Once it hits you once, it's guaranteed to hit you the next 3 times. You can't dodge it. Once it hits you, it keeps jabbing you. And because each one does a lot of damage, you combine those, and it's a near insta-kill on just about any difficulty, easy or normal, and even if you have arrow equipped. And also because you're nearly going to be always running low on magic due to having to use so many spells against Phantom that you can't really afford to miss. The spells on the clock that you can't afford to miss, and the spells on yourself for cure that you obviously can't afford to miss because you'll die if you aren't curing. Whoa, man, that was real close. We came so far and nearly died, even with all our stuff. Gotcha, though, I think... Oh, there we go. Fire. We've defeated Phantom. He was a lot of hard work, as you could clearly see. Even with all the great things that we had that were perfectly coordinated for taking him down. My advice to you is, because I don't recommend going after the ultimate weapon, the Keyblade that I suggest most for this fight would be Lady Luck. We actually have Lady Luck. We found it in Wonderland. It's in the Wonderland White Trinity. If you don't remember how to get it, look back to, I think, probably around episode 50 or so. And when we went to get all the White Trinities, we got Lady Luck. That is hands down the best Keyblade to have in this fight, no matter what class you are, because it raises your MP by the most, which is more important than anything else in this battle. And as you can see, Peter Pan has returned to us. He is no longer dead, now that Phantom's gone. And that really only leaves 2 more opponents who I think are harder than Phantom. Or at least, they're harder than Phantom for me. Now, I heard there's something about Big Ben, like depending on your PlayStation's time setting, like one of these doors will be open and you can get a special item. I've never found it. If you know what that is, please tell me. I've looked around for it and I can't find any information on it. Thanks, and we'll continue with the Let's Play next episode.